I ain't a slave to you no more, sin. Yeah. I remember thirsting for God, wanting that sweet communion. Owning all my soul was longing for us to live in union. Wanting nothing else in life except to just be with Him. Be with Him. Nothing in this world could ever compete with Him. But I'm in college now, trying to walk this out. But it's hard and not hard and now can I talk to y'all? I got caught in this mess, learning to walk in the flesh. And now I thirst for Him less, watching Him walk in that dress. I saw the cross and how it took me from the worldly things. And how He told me to cut lost the drums and things. I know I want to see, but dog, I'm born again. If I crazy this.
How you guys doing? Jason A. Kuhn here, giving you a Fight the Deception with Real Perception Christian News Brief for November 1st, 2013. We'll jump in it here at LewRockwell.com. Israel attacks Syria again. Just as the mainstream press is reporting in astonishment that the Syrian government has actually abided by its unilaterally agreed upon pledge to submit its strategic chemical weapon deterrent to destruction by the international community, the international media is reporting that the Israeli military has once again launched a military attack against Syrian territory. This marks at least the fifth time in 2013 that the Israeli military has, in clear violation of international law, launched military attacks against neighboring Syria. In violation of Lebanese airspace as well, it was reported that Israeli bombers flew over Lebanon to strike a Syrian military base near Latakia. As in the previous attacks by Israel against Syria, the Israeli government has refused to confirm or deny its actions, with a government spokesperson saying flatly, "We don't refer to foreign reports." Let's move on here to Infowars.com, an article written by Paul Joseph Watson. China moves spy ship to Hawaiian waters in retaliation against the U.S. China has sent a surveillance ship to Hawaiian waters for the first time in an unprecedented move, which is being described as a provocative retaliation to the U.S. naval presence in the East China Sea. According to a report by GoldSea.com, a news outlet aimed at Asian Americans, a 4,000-ton People's Liberation Army electronic reconnaissance ship was recently spotted near Hawaii within the U.S. 200 nautical mile EEZ. The report was also picked up by the Honolulu Star Advertiser, which ran an article entitled "China Moves Spy Ship Near Isles, Asian Media Say." The ship is equipped with various electronic gear for eavesdropping on radio communications and tracking ships and aircraft. It is also believed to have jamming equipment to interfere with the radio communications of other ships, according to the report. We'll move on here to WashingtonTimes.com. Inside China, nuclear submarines capable of widespread attack on the U.S. Chinese state-run media revealed for the first time this week that Beijing's nuclear submarines can attack American cities as a means to counterbalance U.S. nuclear deterrence in the Pacific. On Monday, leading media outlets including China Central TV, the People's Daily, the Global Times, the PLA Daily, the China Youth Daily, and the Guangdong Daily ran identical top headline reports about the awesomeness of the People's Liberation Army's Navy Strategic Submarine Force. This is the first time in 42 years since the establishment of our Navy Strategic Submarine Force that we will reveal on such a large scale the secrets of our first-generation underwater nuclear force, the Global Times said in a lengthy article titled, "China for the first time possesses effective underwater nuclear deterrence against the United States." The article features 30 photos and graphics detailing, among other things, damage projections for Seattle and Los Angeles after being hit by Chinese nuclear warheads and the deadly radiation that would spread all the way to Chicago. Wow. Let's move on back to Infowars.com, an article written by Kurt Nimmo. Obama's Justice Department argues before Supremes. International treaties trump Constitution. Here's one you're not seeing covered by the establishment teleprompter readers. The Justice Department is going before the Supreme Court and arguing that the Obama administration has the authority to trump the Constitution with international treaties. Texas Senator Ted Cruz is stepping up to the plate to fight this globalist broadside. The Constitution created a limited federal government with only specific enumerated powers, Cruz told the Washington Examiner. The Supreme Court should not interpret the treaty power in a manner that undermines this bedrock protection of liberty, he says. Let's move on here to MrConservative.com. 10 facts that suggest Obama's birth certificate is fake. Obama supporters will tell everyone who will listen that Barack Obama produced his real birth certificate in 2011. A single reporter, Savannah Guthrie of NBC News, was allowed to see the real document and then was scanned as a PDF file and loaded into the internet for everyone to see. As far as the Obama crowd is concerned, that's the end of the story. The only problem for Obama is that numerous electronic document experts have shown, using steps that anyone can repeat if they have the proper software, that the document the White House is so proudly uploaded is not simply a scanned version of an original paper document. Instead, it's what's called a layered document. A document that's scanned will have only one layer, which is the image itself. A layered electronically manipulated document will show one electronic edition after another. The White House birth certificate PDF has 9 layers total. This was an assembled electronic document, not a paper document. Now this goes on to give you the 10 facts that suggest Obama's birth certificate is fake. It's a lengthy article. I suggest you go to MrConservative.com, and of course it will be linked into the YouTube description box. Let's move back here to Infowars.com, an article written by Paul Joseph Watson. Cops swap patrol cars for big rigs to catch texters, illustrating once again how police are now a little more than revenue generators for a state which vampirically feeds on the public. Cops in Knoxville, Tennessee are swapping patrol cars for big rigs in a bid to catch texters. Wow. The swap is part of a sting to catch people texting and driving, and gives the Highway Patrol Police an advantage in spotting violators because the semi-trucks sit much higher. According to the report, dozens of drivers were ticketed during the day one of the sweep in Knoxville. The notion of being tailed by a cop in a massive truck is obviously also a powerful intimidation tactic. Wow. Let's move on here to StoryLeak.com. German biohacker implants massive computer chip in forearm. German biohacker and transhumanist Tim Cannon may be the first known human to implant a computer chip capable of transmitting biometrical data to an Android device. During an interview with Motherboard magazine, the Circadia 1.0, an open-source device capable of recording and transmitting body temperature over Bluetooth, was successfully implanted into Cannon's left arm. Wow. Instead of taking snapshots of your health by visiting a doctor, you can aggregate weeks or months of medical data that you can store for your personal viewing, he says. The human body is really failing in almost every way, Cannon says. I want to live to be thousands of years old. I don't want to die. I don't know anybody who would. Leaders in the transhumanist movement, such as Google's director of engineering, Ray Kurzweil, predict that the human body will completely be replaced by machines by the end of the century, which with human minds uploaded to computers by the year 2045. Wow. Let's move on here to DailyMail.com. Latest man arrested in a Seville sex abuse probe is famous TV and radio star, and both police and BBC refuse to name him. A top BBC presenter has been arrested by detectives investigating the Jimmy Savile scandal. Officers from Operation Yawtree have refused to name the suspect, age 64, who still works at the BBC and is a household name. The BBC, the suspect, and his agent have all refused to confirm his identity. Wow. Let's move on here to the last article of the day. PoliceStateUSA.com. Police shot unarmed man drove an armored truck through his door when he did not exit his property on command. Wow. And paramilitary force was dispatched to a townhouse after a woman reported a domestic dispute between her and her boyfriend. When her boyfriend stubbornly chose to stay inside his home, police shot him and drove an armored truck through his front door. The situation began on August 29th around 2:40 p.m. when John Gear, a 46-year-old kitchen designer and installer, was told by his girlfriend that she had decided to leave him. The couple had daughters together, ages 13 and 17. Emotionally distraught over the breakup, Gear exacerbated the situation by throwing her belongings onto the lawn of their townhouse. This led to her calling the police. She informed the dispatcher that he owned a firearm. A SWAT team was sent to the quiet cul-de-sac. Gear's home was surrounded by armored vehicles and uniformed personnel. A police sniper was photographed lying prone in a neighbor's yard, aiming toward Gear's residence. Men in helmets and military fatigues cordoned off the neighborhood. Police began making their demands. An armored truck, a topside gun turret parked in his yard, and prepared for a strike command. As time went on, helicopters whirred overhead, and canine units were seen by neighbors. "We're just here to help you. Come out with your hands up," recounted neighbor Edith Eshelman of the police negotiations. And of course, this story ends up, they shot him dead. That's all the news I got for you guys today. I don't want to leave you without the New World Order quote of the day by Thomas Jefferson. I believe that the banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. Already they have raised up a moneyed aristocracy that has set the government at defiance. Issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs. That is Thomas Jefferson. Now the proverb of the day, Proverbs 22:3, King James only. A prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. That's all the news and articles I got for you today. You can check me out on Facebook at Jason A. Kuhn. You can also check out my YouTube channel, Jason A. Kuhn, my Facebook ministry page, Romans 12:2 Transformer Ministries. Also highly suggest a few websites, federaljack.com, drudgereport.com, and infowars.com, and newsblock2.com. That's all I got for you today. I'll leave you off with the song I brought you in on by the 116 Click, No More.